All right, hi there, everybody. I'm meteorologist Greg D. Evening update here on Idalia. The 5 p.m. update is in. Of course, model data is in. And this is going to be a quick one because I think we're kind of getting to the point where the models now, the forecast, a little less important. It's now the track of the storm and where it goes. That's really where the focus is. So let's kind of focus on where the Hurricane Center is thinking this thing is going to go. I'll point out a couple of trends that I'm noticing, and then we'll kind of wrap it up. And I think tomorrow is going to be just a day of watching the wobbles. You guys know how this goes. Did that through Irma, did that through Ian. Always a lot of fun, always something unexpected with these storms. So here's the 5 p.m. updated track. This is it right here. And you see a couple of changes. They've got the intensity up 5 miles per hour. So now at 2 a.m. on Wednesday, instead of being a 115 mile an hour storm west of Tampa Bay, it is a 120 mile an hour storm. In the red there, hurricane warnings. You guys know hurricane warnings are up along our coast from Manatee County north to the Big Bend. All of Citrus, Hernando, Pasco, Hillsborough, Pinellas, and Manatee are under hurricane warnings in the interior as well. Though, if you are in the eastern parts of those counties, Zephyr Hills, Dade City, Plant City, Brandon, Riverview, you're probably not going to be anywhere close near hurricane conditions on this track. It's really gusts along the coast that are most likely to see them. A couple of things that I've noticed with the track over the day today is when we started this morning, it's because I've been looking at this very carefully, the center of the track went like this through about Cedar Key. That's Levy County. 5 p.m. update, now it's a little farther west on the border of Dixie and Taylor County. So it's moved over about a county. 20 miles, 25 miles, 30 miles. Not a lot. That could be significant. That really could be significant. It could be enough to keep a lot of the strongest winds offshore as we head into Tuesday night into Wednesday. Of course, this is just one forecast. The cone is still wide and it still extends through Citrus County all the way back west to looks like maybe the St. Mark's area down towards Tallahassee or even Carabel over towards St. George Island. So there's still room for movement. And just like with all storms, we've seen the wobbles, we've seen the shifts back and forth, and that is going to happen with this storm as well as it's been developing down in the Gulf of Mexico. Intensity forecast from the models. A few more now are buying into this Category 3 intensity. They'll notice the majority of them. And I think this is really interesting. You gotta kind of take a look at this and really start to think, all right, there are 3 models that bring this to Category 3 intensity. The majority of them are now even out of Category 2. They're really in Category 1 for intensity. So, and this is the most inaccurate part of a hurricane forecast is the intensity. There's still a wide margin of where the storm is going to end up in terms of intensity. What kind of environment is it going to be in? And at what point of its life stage will it be as it's over those optimal intensification conditions? Will it be going through an eyewall replacement cycle at the time? Because if that's the case, well, then you get a little pause on intensifying, and that opens up the window for the storm not intensifying as much as it approaches the coast. So definitely still a lot of variables, and these are things the models will not predict. They do not predict eyewall replacement cycles. When the eyewall rebuilds itself, the storm often even weakens a little bit or looks a little ragged, and the new eyewall forms and a new storm seemingly emerges. That takes hours. The models don't really pick up on that very well. In terms of the model tracks, not much change here either. You see they still range quite a bit. I mean, the Hurricane Center has been nudging west through the afternoon. All right. But, I mean, the models still really run the gamut of that cone from the Big Bend all the way back to Cedar Key. Still all possible. Look at this one model here, variant of the GFS, does a loop and brings the storm back into Florida. How about that? There's a model no one's cheering for, for sure. It's the only one that does that, but there's always one, right? That does something like that. So what I'm really trying to get at here is that at this point, the models are not going to be very useful. They're not going to tell you much. They're not going to change much. It's now just the motion of the storm. How is this thing moving? Where is it going? The surge forecast has remained the same. So south of Longboat Key, 3 to 5 feet down to Englewood. From Longboat Key, 3 Anna Maria, Bradenton, the Bay, up to the Enclote River, 4 to 7 feet. From the Enclote River, that's Tarpon Springs, up to the Hernando Citrus County line, you're going to be looking at 6 to 9 feet. And then 8 to 12 feet. Now, that's an increase of 1 foot for Citrus County north through Levy, Dixie, and Taylor counties up to the Osceola River. So that is now an increase, and it's reflective of the increase in the intensity. By the way, look at the East Coast. 2 to 4 feet on the South Carolina coast, all the way back through Savannah, Georgia, and then between Flagler, Volusia County line up to Jacksonville, south of the mouth of the St. Mary's River, 1 to 3 feet. So the East Coast is going to get this. This is why the storm, you can't focus on where the center goes. The storm is wide-reaching. It impacts the whole state. 4 to 7 feet would be significant in the Bay. I've pointed this out before, and I'm going to click on this. The Hurricane Center has this in their Idalia section, this storm surge map that allows you to zoom in to look at neighborhood level maps of what will be underwater and by how much. So this is Tampa. This is Hillsborough Bay. Notice much of MacDill Air Force Base, much of South Tampa, south of Ballast Point, the coast there, under 3 feet of water in the yellow. Davis Islands, 3 feet of water. It's completely submerged. Half of Harbor Island, parts of the Riverwalk, parts of downtown. Parts of the area around Tampa Heights, it doesn't get close enough, but you guys see there's a little yellow here that the model is picking up. I don't think you guys are seeing this, so let me readjust. There you go. That little circle there, that's the Armature Works area of the Hillsborough River, that bend there. And it's showing 3 to 6 feet of flooding. I wonder how far that's going to get into that property. That's an interesting forecast. And then up here, you've got flooding into Ybor. Portions of Ybor, 3 feet of water. Well south of I-4. This is going to be south of 7th, but still, you're looking at water in places that you don't typically expect it. Causeway Boulevard, obviously. The port area, all underwater as well. And then as you zoom this out, let me show you other parts of the area. Obviously, Pinellas County, St. Pete, north of downtown, portions of South St. Pete, all of the beaches in the islands. You're looking at potential for 3 to 6 feet of flooding. Clearwater Beach, basically overrun by water. Honeymoon and Caladesi faring pretty well. And then the Tarpon Springs area. Folks here, northern Pinellas County, are you paying attention to the storm? That Enclote River, man, that could really fill up. You're talking about 6 feet of water around the sponge docks, potentially, with this getting pushed in. And then once you get into, looks like it's going to be the New Port Richey area, Port Richey, 9 feet in the red in some places of water. Those are streets and neighborhoods that are to the west of 19, basically, that are seeing flooding. And then I think the most serious is going to be, unfortunately, for my friends in Homosassa Springs, and Crystal River. If you live in Crystal River, you need to get out. This is not a storm to stay for. 9 feet plus of water above ground level. So you're looking at flooding up to the top, over the first story of a building, of a house that is at sea level. That is very dangerous. You do not want to be in Crystal River during this storm. That threat is way too high. You got to get well to the east. 19 is going to be flooded. Lecanto is the first safe place, and really Beverly Hills, Hernando, up through Inverness, you're okay. Now, there are some neighborhoods of Crystal River that are back towards Lake Russo that are probably going to be in pretty good shape. But if you're along or close to 19, if you're west of 19, you're talking about serious flooding. But that downtown Crystal River area, it looks like the flooding here could be really serious. So again, the red here is 6 to 9 feet. If you are looking for this, by the way, if you're just for the first time seeing this, there is a link I posted on my Facebook page earlier today. Otherwise, it's the National Hurricane Center homepage, nhc.noaa.gov, or just Google National Hurricane Center homepage. Scroll down to that first page you get, and you will see in the Idalia section this box right here, storm surge inundation. And you can go in there and launch that map and actually get a good view of what's happening in what neighborhood. Excellent tool to use if you need some last minute decision making, very helpful. Now, let me tell you this, with storm surge, it's very unpredictable. And there are so many variables in terms of how much water where, that there could be one area that gets a whole lot, and then just down the street they get almost nothing. It's one of these deals. It has to do with topography, the shape of the coast, the depth of the coast, how the winds are acting in that location. But my advice is, with a storm of this intensity, is you don't risk it. You don't take that chance. Part of living in Florida is you evacuate once every couple of years, and 99% of the time you come back and nothing happens. And that's fine. Everything is closed. Everything's going to be closed. What are you going to be doing? Sitting at your house doing what? Be safe. Go somewhere where you know water is not going to get you. I think that really is the best way to handle that. So that's the peak surge map. Rainfall will be an issue. This is the updated forecast from the Hurricane Center. And you see here in the orange, that's actually 6 to 10 inches of rain. So they've kind of upped the forecast for the Bay Area. Luckily, we don't have a lot of excess in terms of rainfall this year. So there is a slight chance of some flooding. They've increased the chance to about 15%, but it's not a huge threat like it was with Ian. This is a quickly moving storm. So let's talk about the timing here, because honestly, looking at this map, I think they've even sped it up a little bit more. So they've gave us a little bit more detail in the 5 p.m. update. And now, tropical storm force winds will begin across southwest Florida, 8 a.m. on Tuesday. The Sun Coast around 2 p.m. on Tuesday. So mid-afternoon, you're going to start to see gusts to tropical storm strength. So around Tampa Bay up to Citrus County, tropical storm force winds will develop between 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. So that by 8 p.m., all of us should be in tropical storm force gusts. And it's gusts. Not everyone is going to see tropical storm force winds the whole time. And I think that's very important to mention. I'm going to go back to HERBAC, which is a tropical system tracking software that the emergency management uses, because I do like what this shows in terms of the winds. So let me take you back to the map. So there's the latest track from the National Hurricane Center. I also really like the way the software just shows it. It's very clean, very simple, not a lot of clutter here. And we can look at the areas that are going to see tropical storm force winds. So as of the 5 p.m. update, everyone between the yellow and the blue line, so right here. So Orlando all the way back to the coast, those are tropical storm force winds. So Lakeland, Venice, Sarasota, Bradenton, St. Pete, Tampa, Clearwater. But you're going to get them in gusts. These are not going to be sustained. The only place you'll really get sustained tropical storm force winds is right on the water, where there's very little friction. The winds are close to the surface. So at the beaches for sure. It looks like with this update, northern Citrus County, northwestern Citrus County may get into strong tropical storm force winds. So those are going to be winds that are greater than 58 miles an hour, but below hurricane strength. This is also the area that's most likely to see wind gusts into hurricane strength. So wind gusts of 74 miles an hour or more. That's going to be northwestern or the western portions of Citrus County, Crystal River, Homosassa Springs. The hurricane force winds on this track, and we've seen this all day, are going to stay offshore. No one here, they're in the red, no one here in our area should see sustained hurricane force winds on this track. We could see gusts, but I still don't see sustained hurricane force winds for anyone in our area. And when I say anyone, I mean Citrus, Hernando, Pasco, Pinellas, Hillsborough, Manatee, Sarasota, Hardy, DeSoto, Highlands, and Polk counties. That is my area. That is our area. That's Tampa Bay. So Citrus to Sarasota, Polk to Highlands. No one's getting sustained hurricane force winds on this track. They're going to be within 30 miles of the center. That's it. So this is a really not a bad scenario for us in terms of wind. And I'm a little concerned because for our friends here in Citrus, Hernando, and Pasco County, you didn't get a lot out of Ian or Irma. So the tree canopy in those 2-3 counties, pretty robust. And that means we're going to see a lot of branches falling. I think in Citrus County, you're going to see a lot of power outages, lots of tree damage, because you just haven't had a storm really clear out that canopy lately. So that's probably my biggest concern for that area. Other than that, I think those are the only issues here that have come up since the 5 p.m. update. Things are still on track. We're at the point now where you're just kind of got to literally find your safe spot. You're going to stay there starting tomorrow afternoon right through Wednesday. Carissa just messaged me here saying, we decided to leave from Clearwater today on 275 North now, and it is packed. It is busy. I did notice leaving, went to get some gas, and I did fill up 1 canister of my generator fuel. I have 2. I filled up 1. So you kind of can see where my concern is. I don't trust the track. I worry about jogs to the east. It could jog the other direction, but I worry about the jogs towards us. So just in case, I have 1 extra 5-gallon can of fuel, and the cars are fueled up. That's where I'm at with my level of concern. So everybody stay safe. Is there a trough of dry air to push it to the east? Christine, there is a trough that's going to make it push to the... That's what's actually pulling it north first, and then it's going to push it to the east. So again, it's the timing of that trough and where the hurricane is. It'll be a hurricane by then as far as where it goes. And at this point, no model is going to give you some kind of deeper understanding than where we're at now because we're so close to landfall. We're just going to have to see how the storm reacts to this trough. It's little, for the overall track, is it going to change? No. But we're in it. So for us, 30-mile change in the track is a lot. For someone watching outside of our area, a 30-mile jog east or west doesn't matter. The track is still on track. But for us, it does. Those jogs do matter. So we'll be watching those, tracking it on radar all morning. We'll probably go into continuous coverage on ABC Action News in our app tomorrow night. So make sure you've got our app on your phone, charged up and ready to go. You can watch for free, and we'll be updating you. We will have reporters all across the area. I believe actually someone is going to be in Clearwater reporting on the storm there. Stay safe, everybody. Take care. I'm going to get some rest, more rest than I did last night, hopefully today. And I will be back on nice and early tomorrow morning. Take care, everybody.